Shalom. First and foremost, all praises going to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakha Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, salutations going to the hopefully elect Tabernacle of David. And I want to jump right into it. So as you can see, the title of this article here, Holland withdraws sanctions against Russia without EU permission. All right, and we know this goes into the prophecy of the beast shall hate the whore, going into the book of Revelation, the 17th chapter and the 16th verse. Now, earlier this year, 2022, you had Germany actually leave NATO. So that was a big thing. And part of the reason why America ended up sabotaging, destroying the Nord Stream 1 and the Nord Stream 2. Because if you know Germany, you know that Germany is very dependent on that Russian oil and gas because they have a direct pipeline that goes from Russia directly into Germany and the rest of the EU nations. So America pretty much came in and destroyed the Nord Stream 1 and the Nord Stream 2 to basically destroy any kind of camaraderie or, common interests that Germany and Russia had together. Now, why am I mentioning this? I'm mentioning this because everything that the whore has been doing against NATO and the EU, now what's happening is that these NATO nations are starting to hate the whore, which according to the scriptures is Babylon the Great, which we know is America. Okay? All of the things that they've done, they've put sanctions upon Russia. When you look at it, the sanctions that the West has put on Russia has really not affected Russia at all. Russia is actually okay while what's happening. The EU, NATO nations, and America is suffering. Look how high the inflation is. Look how unhappy that the people are. People are getting laid off from their jobs. People aren't making enough money to make ends meet. Crime is rising. Suicide is going crazy, so this is the result of the sanctions that really America is the one that pushed these sanctions. You understand? NATO and the EU nations, they had a good relationship with Russia prior to the jump off of this whole Russia-Ukraine war, which again goes back to America, Babylon the Great. America spearheaded this, Russia-Ukraine war. So even from that, America is suffering, but the EU and the NATO nations, they going through it even worse than America. And America really hasn't been giving any aid. They just been giving money to Ukraine to fight this war. But meanwhile, their allies are suffering. See? And like I mentioned before, Germany left the NATO earlier on this year. And they did that because they realized at that point that, being allied with America and NATO is not benefiting us. We can't even keep a standing army because America has cut off our supply of natural gas and oil from Russia. Our infrastructure can't run properly, so we can't have this. So to hell with that. We're going to side with Russia, And that's why the Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 was sabotaged, because Germany and America already knew it. Germany was going to side with Russia anyways. And if Germany went, then guess what? All of all the countries in proximity to Germany would have went as well, and Holland being one of them. All right, so getting into this article, it says, Natural News is reporting that acting in the best interest of its own people, Holland has officially withdrawn sanctions against Russia despite no approval or permission from the European Union, the first country in Europe to do so. Holland started out by issuing 91 waivers from sanctions against Russia following the initial invasion. These waivers covered specific items that the country needs, such as aluminum and food. Now the country has decided that many more sanctions must go because there is simply no good reason to continue with them, since they are only harming Europe while doing next to nothing to punish Russia. And that's the point I just made. All these sanctions that the West, America, has put on Russia is not hurting Russia at all, because Russia is still trading its oil and natural gas, which is very cheap for these nations to buy, to its allies. And then again, you have the BRICS, which is what Brazil, Russia, India, China, and I forget the last nation. Probably I think it's South Africa or something like that. But you have the BRICS nations which are trading in amongst themselves and getting away from the dollar. Okay, because you have to understand that the dollar is the world reserve currency. So they're trying to X the dollar out. And Russia is the world's leading manufacturer of oil and natural gas. So if you have the top producer of oil and natural gas cutting out the dollar, what is that going to do for every other economy that is dependent upon the Federal Reserve note, upon the American dollar? Well, their economies are going to crash, okay? Their infrastructure is going to suffer and their people are going to suffer. So these European nations realize that. And ultimately what's going to happen according to prophecy is that these European and NATO nations, they're going to leave their alliance with America and side with Russia and their allies and come against America, ultimately in the Battle of Armageddon, World War III. That's what's going to happen according to prophecy. And you're seeing it being set up right now. Because these nations are going to realize at some point, wait a minute, it's more, all of what Russia has been saying against the West, we see that is true. They already know that is true, but they're afraid of America. But it's going to come a certain point, the Lord is going to put a spirit on these nations to be like, yo, to hell with America. We, you know what I'm saying, we are about to rise up against America and you know, blow her up. Because she's screwing everybody over. No one can have a peace of mind with America around. So America got to go. That's ultimately what the attitude is going to be towards the whore. So reading on, where was I at? It says, at the time when the Dutch government first started issuing sanction exemptions, ministers would not reveal the names of the companies involved, citing company-sensitive information. A spokesperson from the Ministries of Foreign Affairs, Economic Affairs, Finance, Infrastructure, and Education confirmed that the exemptions were granted to allow a degree of flexibility in specific cases. All right, let's see what else we can get out of this. Says the rest of Europe better get off the EU/UN war wagon. Another added another. Germany needs to badly. BASF probably will shut down, too expensive to operate. Germans like real cars and real motors. Doubtful they will embrace electric vehicles and Green New Deal steel horse crap. Someone else pointed out that the Netherlands still has the problem of the green agenda, which is rapidly destroying its once thriving agricultural sector. Their farms are being destroyed for immigrant populations to take up the land. As the White Horse, UN, and USA destabilizes poor nations to fully usher in the now. This person wrote, the Netherlands, Europe, USA, and Japan are in serious upcoming and current trouble. Finally, one last commenter celebrated these first steps by Holland to restore healthy trade with Russia, encouraging the rest of the world to follow suit. Everyone else needs to do the same thing and tell the neo-libs and the neocons in the U.S. to shove it. Okay, so you're basically seeing that the sentiment is against America, all right? And it's going to become increasingly so because of all the things that are mentioned in this article, man. All right, so we're going to go to Revelation 17 and 16, but we're going to start up at 14. These shall make war with the Lamb. Salakia 13. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. Okay, we read up, it says, verse 12, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. Now, when you consider the beast, we know that America is the head of the beast system, right? So America pretty much rules over, or is the, dominant governing body over the beast. Okay, we will read down. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. Now that's how you know this is a clue here to show you that the whore is who? America, Babylon the Great. Because what is America known as? The great melting pot. Where what? There are many peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. Pretty much every nationality of people exists within America. Okay, that's why it's called the great melting pot. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Now, what would cause the beast to hate the whore? Now, first of all, before we get there, who is the beast, or who makes up the beast? Okay, we know America is one, but let's go here. Let's bring this out. Okay, now we know, according to prophecy, that the beast is made up of the original territory of the Roman Empire. Okay, so these are the original 10 EU and NATO member states. You have Belgium, France, Germany, Greece. Greece was added to NATO in 1995. Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Portugal, they joined NATO in 1990. Spain, the same thing. And the UK. Okay? Now, when you go back, let me see what I want here. Matter of fact, yeah. And the 10 horns, which thou sawest, are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet. So like, yeah, I'm a bit scatterbrained today. I'm super tired. just bear with me, right? So the 10 horns, okay, going back to the original 10 EU and NATO nations, man. Okay, basically the revived Roman Empire, and America is the head of that. So now when you go here, okay, this was the Western Roman Empire at its height, pretty much. So you have Spain, Portugal, the UK, France, and this is how it originally looked. Okay, Germany was a part of that. Germany wasn't. Rome did add Germany as well, but this is the original Roman Empire. So you see, it's pretty much all of Western Europe and parts of Northern Africa as well. So then when you go into this, these mention the same nations. Okay. So hence why it says the 10 horns, right? So we know that the 10 horns are NATO and the EU. And it's saying what? That these shall hate the whore. Now, they're going to hate the whore because basically America is betraying them. All right. America has pretty much turned its back on the beast, and America is doing its own thing, looking out for its own interests and not the interest of its allies. So like I said, it's going to come to a point, according to prophecy, that America's allies, the beast, they're going to turn their back on America and shall do what? And shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Now, how is that going to happen? That's going to happen by way of ICBM nuclear missiles, okay? Because once World War III pops off, all of the EU nations, all of the NATO nations, they're going to fire missiles over to America. And as the scriptures say, shall make her desolate and naked and eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Okay, that's how America is going to be reduced by the ICBM nuclear missiles that are going to be shot off over here. All right. For Yahweh hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of Yahweh shall be fulfilled. And the words of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai are about to be fulfilled, man. They will be fulfilled. Right. But hey, the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai put it on these nations' spirit to hate the whore, to hate the beast. All right. And the woman which thou sawest is the great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth, which we know that's talking about Babylon, the great America. Okay, you see, so when you get into it, man, prophecy is turning up, the Most High is turning up. And, this is just something that we need to watch out for, because you're going to see come 2023, it's going to turn up even more, because things are going to get drastically worse in 2023. So, hey, man, we always say, we always hasten the day of the Lord because we want to get out of here. And we know, according to prophecy, the way that things is going down, that we nearly out of here, So these things should increase your faith ultimately and should keep you on that straight and narrow, on that narrow path, man, seeking righteousness. Okay, because hey, these nations are about to go down, and they really don't know what's going on. All they know is things ain't looking too good, and America is on the hot seat right now because America been doing a lot of stuff that these nations are looking at America with a side eye, like, yo, are you really with us or are you against us? Like, what's going on? But we know what's going to happen according to prophecy, man. I mean, America is through. The beast is through. These nations, period, are through. All right. And ultimately, when Yahweh Shah comes back, all these nations are going to bow down. You see? So that's ultimately what it's coming to. All these things are happening to bring down the nations so that when Yahweh Shah comes back, he can set up his righteous, everlasting kingdom upon the earth, man. All right. So I didn't want to make that long. Hopefully, this lesson was edifying, quick, straight to the point. In closing, I'd like to say, call Halal, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakha Kedash. Until next time, Shalom to the elect. On to the next one.